In Tehillim Kuf Yud Aleph, the fourth pasuk, the Tehillim is Halu Odeh HaShem B'chol Leivav B'Sod Yeshua Meido G'dei L'Mas HaShem Rishon Chamatzayim. The fourth pasuk says, Zeicher Osa L'Nifloisav Chanu Rachem Hashem. Hashem made a Zeicher. He made us remember the miracles, like they took the man and he put it in Sinsenet, and they Luchos Shvuros they put away. And why is this so? To remember the nisim and the goodness that Hashem gave. In other words, let's say, for example, you want to look back in memory. So you open up the book that they got married, pictures, or your bat mitzvah, or pictures of your youth. You see the pictures in your field. You start remembering what happened, and that gives you good feelings, emotional good feelings, and those good feelings bring certain ideas to your mind. Therefore, God makes a zeicher, like we have Shabbos and Moed. Remember zeicher to see us Mitzrayim. We have a certain remember certain things that are there. So remember these things. Remember the niflos. Now, to remember the niflos is a special quality, because Chan Rachem Hashem, because the Almighty is merciful. Therefore, He makes sure that we remember that He's merciful to us and kind. So remember His mercies, His miracles that took place. We think a little bit of the Chasdei Hashem, the goodness that the Almighty does for us. Now, there's something that's before the act, during the act, and after the act. That's the Mesilas Yesharim. Before the act, during the act, and after. There's a position before you do something. Position is when you do something, and after you do something. After you do something, you're supposed to look at what you've done and see, could you have done it better? What did you learn from what you've done? Learn to not to do it again, or to do good things, do it better. But also you have to learn, what did you learn from the act that you've done? And let's do it a little differently. What do you learn, Shalom? What do you learn from a miracle? After the miracle takes place, we light the candles. We we sit down, what are we supposed to sing? So what day will we sing? We sing a song. We tell a whole story. But we have to look deep, that somehow by going after the act, it somehow implants in our hearts and our being a deeper understanding of what we've just done. And therefore we need those few minutes after we light the candles that we have, we sing Haneros Hello, or the Malikim, we sing more Surah, not just a song, but it's to implant in our hearts what took place, or what these miracles were, or what happened to us. Now let's think a minute. Let's talk about time-space and the consequences of the miracle of the Chashmonaim. And they stood what they stood up for. In a few minutes we'll discuss Hanukkah. But from a different perspective, we look back at Hanukkah after 2,000 years ago. We see something different than those people who saw at the time of Hanukkah 1. We see the tremendous effect for 2,000 years. People like Hanukkah candles. And even people who are in the concentration camps, they get together a little oil and they save the light Hanukkah and they put their life on it. And many stories about Hanukkah candles. He plants in our children, on our heart, of the miracles of God. We can picture in our mind, besides the Suf Ganei, we can think of the singing the Botzer and Al HaNisim. We think of the miracles, and it gives us a new insight. How many people were affected after the miracle of Hanukkah to implant in their hearts about the miracles? And God makes miracles. And how did it affect the Jewish people? Those people who were at the act of Hanukkah, and they won the war, was just momentarily, and they won. They made a remembrance of it, like they do any other remembrance of any miracle. A miracle takes place for an individual, so what do? you remember it, and every time this happens, you go again. It was a fire in the house, you come back every year at a time. Or a place that happened, you go back. Or a community is done. So it's done. So it's enough. You think about it. You remember the goodness of God. But to think so far, we look back. The effect of how Hanukkah's affect all our lives, to that degree, those people who made the takon, I mean, I'm giving a picture 2,000 years, that's it, Hanukkah will be over already, we'll get the temple, we'll come back to Israel, and that's the end. And there are many miracles. There are many, many miracles that the Jews were. Shemesh b'givon dome, the sun stopped here, and everything's there. There are many miracles that took place. So, it's another dimension we can see the mitzvah of Hanukkah. Every time you're doing a mitzvah or anything, you have to try to see what took place and how can you, after you've ready to live life, you're not about children, you already have children, and you're older and smarter. So how can you, this Hanukkah time, do something special or different in understanding Hanukkah that you didn't have last year? For yourself, forget about your children. What can you see? The depth of more miracles, medagdik more in the mitzvahs. They say if you have Hanukkah candles, it says if you have Hanukkah in the Chazal, it says, interesting. If you have Hanukkah candles in the window, you get Talmidei Chachamim. I'll try to find the place. Haroah is Gemara Barachos Nun Zayin. Haroah Hashem and Zayis B'Chalom Yitzapel L'Maor Shel Torah. You hope for Torah, the light, because the Shemin represents the Jewish people. Shemin represents the Talmidei Chachamim. Therefore, you can mitzapeh, you can hope for the light of Torah. There are a lot of things that you can do. You make it different. You make sure you have the candles ready, or you do shemen this time, and you make sure that the thing is clean, and you make sure that it's organized, and make sure that you make it happy, or you get your sufganiyot for the children, make sure they're going to sing. But that's the acts of being done. And how are you going to increase the quality? You're going to sit down and make sure they read the Al Hanisim, ask some questions. Why is it on the shemen and not on the war? What's special about Hanukkah different than Purim? Hanukkah is a miracle on the soul. They wanted to destroy the Jewish people. They wanted to destroy the spirit of Jewish people, the religion of Jewish people. Therefore, they wrote on their horns to remind themselves of the Jewish people. They sinned by the ego, and they try to get the young ladies to live with Hagmon, to destroy the tznius, and they did many things to destroy the spiritual aspect. That's why in Hanukkah we don't have the mitzvah really of eating, like Purim Simcha, eating and drinking, because it's more spiritual, against our religion. But how are we going to make it a little different, or a little deep in thinking about miracles in general? Because really, there's a question. The question is that it says that the miracles are going to take place in the future greater than the miracles of going out of Egypt. And no longer will we say the miracles of going out of Egypt. We'll talk about the new miracles that are going to take place. So the Gemara answers no, they'll mention Egypt and also mention new miracles. So,
And what about Hanukkah?
what?
No,
about Hanukkah. This talks about mitzvah. This is a Gemara in the first paragraph in Brachos.
There are many miracles.
Yeah, many miracles.
I mean, the Russians coming out, the
Right.
Ethiopians on a plane.
That's right. And destroying the
I mean,
Russia and.
I
Israel, the fact that you're here and everybody's here is a big miracle. You know?
Yes.
We're still around, and with all the Arabs, we have a lot of miracles. But we agree. But But what do you see in a miracle? You see, what do you learn from miracles? Really, the point. Do you learn faith in God? Do you learn? Do you learn to rely on God? Do you realize that God runs the world, and governments don't run the world, and your social people around them, and God runs the world, and man has to do what he has to do, but at the end God runs the world. And you learn those lessons, and you see the miracles every day. When you ask your children, well, how many miracles did you see today? Or what tell us a miracle that went through your life? Or let's get excited about this miracle. Because it was Rabbi Biad Matim, large. I mean, what do we have? Against the Greeks, the strong Greek Empire. I mean, how could we have won against it? Like going against America today. It's a very big thing to think about. Now, so we have to renew every year in a different way, in a better way, to see the new things. New things in miracle. Talk about miracles. Get involved. Think of the Chesed HaShem does to us. As you read these books on, every week a new book comes out for women to read about the Holocaust, how people are saved here, saved there. There are a lot of stories that you read to your children yourself to reestablish in your own self this concept of God taking care, protects, and the Jewish people. I want to tell you about going out of Egypt. Really, what do you mean you're going to discuss the new miracles that take place? The answer is Egypt and or Hanukkah or Purim is just an example of God taking care of us and watching us, and we have faith in God. So therefore, it's only the format of going out of Egypt that we recognize, but there's going to be greater miracles. If we don't train ourselves to see miracles that in the past, then we won't be able to see when the future comes, when there'll be big, big miracles. We won't be able to appreciate and see what we're just missing out. We'll have eyes and we won't see, and ears we don't hear. And in today's world, I mean, you can think of what's going on. Imagine somebody coming now from 2,000 years ago, coming now and sees an airplane, or a heart transplant, or a computer, or a telephone, or whatever it may be. I mean, just out of this world. Everybody got clothing, they have bathrooms near the house. Everybody got a house, more or less. I mean, what goes on in the world, and the health and the pills and all these medicines after. I mean, you just think about it. It's mind. Women give birth today, a lot of them without too much pain. Like years ago, there was a lot of pain. The question of death, there would be more deaths that HaShem at births. And today, children who are born, who knows, Pog babies, they still live and they have all these things. There's still miracles that take place. People are living beyond their time. So we are in a miraculous time. In fact, if you have a state of Israel, when all the Arabs are doing all the wrong things, the government is still around and alive and growing. So that way it reassures our faith, our belief, but we have to find a way in which you express it, not just lighting the candles, but express it and talk about it and think about it at the time of lighting the candles to your children. Now, women are chayav on lighting candles. So there's Sephardic and Ashkenaz. Sephardic hold that only the head of the household lights the candles. Ashkenaz hold everybody should light the candles, children, adults, and those are Ashkenaz. Women do light candles, and to see the children, you hold chav the mitzvah lighting candles. And unless you can't, you have to rely on your husband to light them for you, doing things. But again, now there are three main concepts of Hanukkah. One is Persumenisa. Persumenisa means, in modern terms, like advertise, marketing, this miracle. In other words, therefore you have to put it outside the door, and if you have two visions to do, so you can do persumenisa also in your mouth, and talk to the kids, and get excited about the miracles that take place, that talk about miracles. And also another thing, chavivin, the mitzvah. The Jewish people were held the Hanukkah candle like very chavim, and they very, very strong were they in the lore of the mitzvah, the miracle of Hanukkah. It was very strong. That's called chavivin mitzvah. And therefore, you have to show your children that the mitzvah is chaviv to you, it's dear to you, it's important. Not just any time or any way. How do you get something valuable? You give it space and time and place, and not just a habit or a burden that you have to do it. You make sure that it's done. And if it's so important that if a person is poor and has no oil for Hanukkah, he sells his clothing. The halacha is you sell your clothing. If you have a question of wine for Kiddush and lighting the candles of Hanukkah, so Hanukkah candles first. Shabbos candles and Hanukkah candles, so Shabbos, why? Because of Shalom Bayis. But actually, Persumenis is very strong. Persumenis is very important against Hanukkah, against wine, and you sell your clothing. If you have to get the money to buy for candles, and so it gets value and importance. And you should see the kids just don't light it, but also see Nala Nisim. Make sure and mention this Nisim. And during the Tula, you can put up a sign Al Nisim that the kids see and know. And you can ask different questions about it. Why do we care about the war? We also won the war. Rama, why did we make it a Shemin? Because the idea was that people that were against our religion, they tried to metame Tumah, and we fought against them on the spiritual. And today, it's not working that way. And today, okay, and today, we have the same fight. But be proud that we're Jews. We can wear our tzitzis outside, not afraid of the Arabs. You stand up with ideas and get your kids pray. Mil Hashem Elai, tell to your kids who's going to be with Hashem. I mean, who we're going to stand up as a Jew, who's proud as a Jew. We're proud of a Jew, who's going to light the candle. You give the kids the spirit of standing up for your religion and the importance of Torah and the importance of tznius. You tell over the story of the tznius of the women and how they fought for the tznius and how the Romans, the Greeks want to destroy that tznius. The women, you know what I mean? What would you do if you lived, you tell you go, at that time, what would you do? Would you be those bums in the street, or would you stand up there, religious girls, to fight for things? Whatever. It's a time to reinforce them and work on yourselves. And Chaviva mitzvah is very important.
Where did gifts come in for him?
What?
How did gifts start?
Yes?
Gifts. Like people give
gifts.
gifts for Hanukkah? How did that start?
I'll tell you. Hanukkah is the time of chinuch, the Rosh of Hanukkah. The Mogen Avraham brings down that there was a minute of the Norim, the poor kids, to go in the street and the doors, and they played with the trailers, but they wanted to know what's going to be with the war. And They use shemen, so sufganiyot have these candles. They have these, sufganiyot because they had shemen. And the basic is, because really we're happy, but since we're spiritual, so we don't have food and like Torah. But still we have to have something that's good. So we take like sufganiyot or some kind of a cake that just quickly that they should somehow express their happiness in some type of a food. And they play, they go around for Hanukkah Gel, and they do the dreidel. That's what they did those days. When there was the war happening, what was the war going on?
Now, is it custom like, we didn't do it in our house, but I hear like today, a lot of people, they'll give one gift the first day, and the gifts get bigger and bigger.
I'll tell you what, that's to do with America. Since Christmas,
or to keep it all away.
Hanukkah's nearby, so the minig is, and I used to do my kids, I used to give them books. Every night give them another book, and they'll make sure that they don't get influenced by their friends, the goyim, that they're getting all these, Christmas gifts, so to make sure they're balanced. You have season greetings, people, I get letters all over season greetings from this and that. You know what I mean? They're, friendly and open, but that's not the minhagim. The meaning is, what we do is we leave Yeshiva a little earlier, and we make sure we get home on time, and light the Hanukkah candles again, pursue the musar, and to be with the family. Or to get the family to sing also and recognize the miracle, etc. So it's really a sign of putting values, because what was the idea of the Greeks? To knock us down spiritually and emotionally, to make us low and weak and ruin our nerve, give us nerves and lost our religion, and so we have to get strength. That could be strength, that's physical killing. But think of the candle, lighting the candles, that if you hold us so spiritual, we'll win spiritually. Now there was a mistake of the Hashmonoim, that the question is, why is there no a lot of literature about Hanukkah? It's just only a few words in Gemara Shabbos. They give many answers. One of the answers is that the Hashmonaim, although they saved Klal Yisrael, they were the Kohanim, and basically that we have separation of, it's not like church and state, but we have the Kohanim versus the Malchus based David, and then they since we're doing such a good job, like you have heroes in the war, some become presidents or become senators, whatever it may be. So these are the heroes, and they want them to run the government. And but the answer, they should have said no, because the government has to go to Malchus based David, because they overstepped that. Then a lot of the Hanukkah was died down, not to give the value to the war, but give more value to the spiritual aspect, which was a spiritual act, because Purim was physical, and they did physical things wrong. They drank yain nesach, whatever it may be. But in Hanukkah, they wanted to destroy the Jewish spirit and Jewish religion. Therefore, it's a time to build up your religion and build up your faith. So now we're going to be strong, we're going to be Maccabees, and stand up for Torah, and stand up for Yiddishkeit. You know what I mean? How we're going to stand up and not let the Arabs get us. We're at Tzitzis out. We're going to fool those Arabs. We're going to daven Shema Kriyat Shema. We're going to learn a lesson. And give that spirit in the home. And since God makes miracles, as we stand up for our rights as Jews. That way, you think of new ways of how to get yourself or your children or your husband more excited about miracles, and giving you internal strength to support your religious ideas. And you can read Al Anisim, give a prize, whoever says Al Anisim nicer now. Whoever during Hanukkah does Al Anisim for davening and then benching, and you give a little extra prize. You know what I mean? Whoever sings more nicer and sweetly together, not loud, sweet. Yeah. Whatever. Make sure when they make the Hanukkahs, everyone answers on me for that one's bracha. They'll get them a farshim and this one. And each one by himself and grabs and make it a way. That's why you enhance, increase the pursuing needs. So we have to know the mitzvah is lighting the candles, not placing the candles. And the better thing is to have shemen if you can afford it. If not, you use shemen is oil. And better shemen is
That's where the latkes come in.
Yeah. But the main thing is, when you do it, the main question when you do it, what value are you getting out of it? How does it affect you? Besides the mitzvah.
Weight when I eat.
No, we're not talking about no. We're talking about lighting the Hanukkah candle.
I know. I'm teasing you.
Usually it gets windy or cold at the time. Now, if you can't light them outside with the wind, you definitely light them inside. If they put the Hanukkah candles outside, the wind blows it out, and there's a lot of strong wind, you're not making the mitzvah. The mitzvah is that you have to light it, that it can be lit for half an hour, if it's a Chachamim, or the time when the shkia comes down, at least for half an hour. If it's not going to be lit for half an hour, it's windy, then how are you going to light the candle? And if you have these boxes that they have the glass on it, still you have to be careful that when you light it, the wind's not going to blow it out. It's an area where the wind doesn't blow.
Well, I thought you put them inside, we put them in the window.
The wind's in what again, but there's so many so that people to see.
Right.
But in America, because of anti-Semitism in a lot of parts of the world, they put it in the kitchen area.
Yeah.
And you put them by the windows. Well, just think of the pleasure coming there to Israel, seeing all those windows and all that people having
Especially in America, you think you're the only Jewish person, around for miles.
Until you
And
see
you
it.
drive down the road and there's,
Also the law is, let's say you can't light candles, and then you look at candles, somebody else, you make a bracha, ala nisim, somebody else's. If you don't have candles, you don't like it, because you want them farshim in that. And the first time, how many brachas, girls? Three. What are the three? Lahadlik, ala nisim, and shechiyah.
Which is?
To lighting the candles, on the miracles of the candle, and that of the time. Shechiyah, thank God we have the Almighty bless us to be able to light the
Reach
candle.
this season.
Right. And then you light, the mezuzah is on the right and the candles on the left. You do it at the door, not on the inside by the window. And that the lighting is the mitzvah, not the placing. You have to have half an hour, 1 second. And
now that you're enjoying the candle.
what? Oh, you can't use the now. To light from one candle to another candle you can, because that's the mitzvah, it's all one mitzvah. But using the candles, for reading even Torah you can't. Why? Because the mitzvah of the candles has to be separate, designated for its mitzvah. Used for another mitzvah, you're mavaza, like you embarrass the mitzvah, one mitzvah for another mitzvah, and you don't do that.
When it's Shabbat
On Shabbat you light, not a question, what do you light first?
yeah, that's I would know. You light the Shabbat candles first, and
No,
then
you can't. You light the Shabbos candle, then when you,
Oh, then
because
you
women
can't.
on Makabel Shabbos, when they light the candles, you have to light first the Hanukkah candles.
Right.
And if you have to light the Shabbos candles, you have somebody else light the Hanukkah candles. Yeah. What?
Since our girls are going to Beis Yaakov,
Yeah.
2 years, it seems like we're the Beis Yaakov, the girls don't like candles, but they're so mad. On the fathers, women don't like candles either.
Okay.
I wanted to ask the Rebbe about that.
When they come home, they light their own candles.
I thought the wives let the husband light them.
Because that's what they wanted to say, because it's kegufo, it's women. But the children, for chinuch, it's better they come home and they light their candles in the kitchen area.
And should everybody have their
It's better to have everybody.
Also, like,
I would
what
say-
age is it appropriate, like, for kids to start using oil? If you have a big family,
I don't know. That's a financial problem, and I can't say that. Also, the real problem with oil is it spills over the place. Dirty and problematic. The parents should have oil. They give the kids.
You have to be careful. They said that the Arabs are taking olive oil and mixing it with soy oil.
The what?
They take olive oil and mix it with soy oil and they sell it as olive oil. You can't.
Why they do that?
You have to get a good olive
But up the halacha, for Chanukah candles is no difference. It's better to have olive oil, but you have to be careful.
And what do you use for the, to light it in the wick?
Usually have the reason why you can't use the Chanukah candles for anything else but seeing the Chanukah candles, see the miracle, remind yourself of the miracle. So therefore, usually you have let's see what's happening
Do you need help?
there. So therefore, you have the shamus, which is a bigger one, and now if you don't have money, even one candle is enough. And so you don't need more than one candle each night. We do the mahadrin and we do 8 candles, and we do 1, 2, 3, 4. And the area. If you have no money, things are bad, you light 1 candle. But it's better to buy a whole stack of candles. Better candles for the kids, unless they're older, and then you maybe HaShem. But otherwise, you have a whole problematic story here. Unless you can afford it, you have everything different. You have a few kids, you have 14 kids that all get oil, and you're fighting and beating each other up, so it's not the same story. It's good, I mean, you gotta see the thing. But the main thing is, what are you gonna accomplish? How are you gonna grow? What are you gonna have a new dimension in your bitachon and emunah from Chanukah? That's the real story.
I
And how
always
you
tell
can
the
see more
children,
miracles taking place in your life. There's always miracles around.
I always tell the children that God will make a way where there seems to be no way, you know. It's like, never say never, no matter what the situation is. If you're getting robbed, whatever, God can still come in and make a way, you know, like never lose faith.
That's right, but
You
also,
know?
whatever God does, then you have to accept
Right.
it. And,
It's not to ask, but does a miracle have to be life and death? Like, sometimes we like to go around and ask all kids to talk about miracles
doesn't have
in
to
life.
be like, no.
So some of the kids have really miraculous things, some of them don't. But
So you do not know, as long as they appreciate and see that it's not by them that does it, God does it for them. Life, they
even
see.
just doing good on a test,
That's it,
maybe
yeah.
getting
That's
up in
right.
the morning.
That's right.
That's enough.
That's it. No, don't can't press it, then you can go other things. That's right.
But it's bad when they get an A and they don't do their homework, then they'll expect it again and not do their homework.
Listen. Any other questions? So you got to prepare for Hanukkah and think of how you can do something about it. And it needs towards you, even because again, before the act, during the act, and after the act. Before the act, how you prepare. When you're preparing yourself, talk about miracles. During the act, when you're lighting, you got to do the mitzvah, and what are you thinking about? Then you have Alanisim after the act, and then you can sit and think about miracles. Or thank God for what you have. Or get the children to thank. Not just do it and then run off, you finish the mitzvah and it's over.
They said the whole Jewish people is a miracle, you know. Like you look at history and all other types of people, and nobody's lasted so long, and to be such a few people, and to last in this situation.
I think we're doing quite well. We've destroyed, I think, today, I don't know what the count of the Jews in the world today. Maybe 14 million?
Right.
Maybe 16 million, something like that. We're getting back again, yeah.
When you asked about the problem, like on the issue with the kids now, there's a big problem now with the road. Like we were traveling today, and the Palestinians are like digging very, very deep ditches on both sides of the road for the water pipes.
Yeah.
And it's becoming like, and it loves meow meow, and it's becoming like you're really afraid because there are kids traveling the buses and stuff, they could be like,
No, the roads, because they have their own trucks going through. You just have to drive slower. They're going to fill it up, and they're going to fill it up right, and go slower. They have their trucks going through and their cars going through. You just have to go slow. But you can't get fear. There's the whole thing. You can't have fear. You got the Arabs. In fact, the other way around. It's because of our Yeshiva, a part of Israel remains in Israel. If we weren't there, what would happen? We'll go back to the Arabs. Thank God we're there. In a certain way, we're like soldiers. By just learning Torah, just living there, we are protecting a certain part of an area of Israel to be in Israel. If we weren't there, it wouldn't happen. They would take it away. So you got to thank God for that. And I think the way I look at it, in a couple of years, I think Meitzah will start growing much more. Because already the borders will be settled, things required, and they'll start building, and the Sachna will start pushing in people in the area. And we have to, at least in ourselves, be happy. But we can't feel we're cramped in and we're pushed in, we're in a ghetto. You know what I mean? In a way, I don't mind being in a ghetto, be away from everybody, and only have Torah. But on the other hand, that's not what we're talking about. And
If they're gonna make it that way, they put those cement walls.
we'll see. We'll see what they're going to do. I don't know. Let's see. We got it's open for discussion yet. I have to still talk to them. Yeah.
And Rabbi, we have
Around
our
the
feeling
cities.
is that we live on a Yishuv, and it's a lichakila position.
That's
We're happy and privileged.
That's right.
Not like
We're saving Israel. We're soldiers. We're soldiers, actually, saving part of Israel by living there.
And it's not a question of if we could get, if all of us could find a place that we could.
No. Then again, you're running away from helping Klal Israel. And I don't believe it's dangerous. I don't believe it. And anyway, we can't have wars around. We can't protect ourselves anyway. We just have the army protect us more. We're not able to.
Most of the settlements don't want these walls. They don't put on the news.
Okay.
you know what?
They don't want the walls. The cement walls.
No.
See, if they would make cement walls all around my fence that I have, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
But they want to make it around the houses.
Yeah.
But if they would make it around the fence and make us our land much
Can't grow
bigger,
there. There's no
I would
growth.
love it.
There's no growth.
Yeah.
If you're walled in, you can't grow.
But I don't know, we're going to have to talk about it, girls. We're going to have a vote and we're going to have a meeting with everybody. We're not going
What do
to...
you think our effect
The what?
What's going to happen? I mean, is there signs of danger, like if our effect declares the state in May 4th, they want to call jihad for the liberation of Palestine, and they start, I mean, I don't know, that's the worst scenario. Like, are we just supposed to remain, like, totally hopeful that HaShem will do miracles and look at...
No, I mean, we will have at that time, we believe that there'll be soldiers, there'll be protection, so it doesn't run by itself. According to what I understand, we're worried more about the Bedouins than the Arabs nearby. And I don't know if what do they gain by us? You know, I don't know our position yet, but we'll find out. I don't see. Wait and see, and we could demand to have a helicopter there or something.
Are the PLOs, are they children of the concubines? And not Arab?
No. You see, what happens is they train little kids. We have, by the way, tapes. I can maybe push that 10-minute tape. They actually train the little kids to hate.
Oh, definitely.
Really?
And yes, that's what they do. All day long they train them to hate. Just like we say, be proud we're a Jew and do mitzvahs.
That's what they do.
All day
That's
long they say
Germany,
hate. Like the little kids play computers, kill. So now they have on their computers Jew, kill. Zionists,
Right.
kill. They kill. They little pictures of Jews there. Yeah.
They break one?
Yeah.
The Palestinians, we say that, I mean, I've heard opinions, they say that it's the Plishtim, we don't say them, do
Okay, some people say they're the Germans, some say they're the Plishtim, say they're kind of
What's
like.
the difference?
But I don't look at it so bad. I mean, don't look at it so bad. Yeah.
Well, maybe it seems a little obvious, but when we see our kids do things that are nasty, like
Yeah.
say bad things to Arabs, or, I mean, we have to really react strongly.
That's right.
I
You gotta
mean,
say
it's
they're human
disgusting.
beings.
It's not
You gotta
even
say they may be our enemies, They don't want to hurt, but now they're human beings, you gotta give them, tell them, look, you can't talk bad.
We can't overlook it. We have
No,
to really, do
But you
something.
can't get
They
hatred in
need
your
us.
heart, because at the end, hatred breeds hatred. And at the end you get nothing. Not only that, they take it out on other things. But it doesn't mean you don't say they're not our enemies. You can say they're our enemies, but we don't have the Solomon came, we do wrong, we punish them, and good, we will say they're good, but you have to say that. What?
It's a chilul Hashem also.
Yeah, but that's also, but why is it a chilul Hashem? Not because of the left. It's a chilul Hashem because human beings are created by God, you have to give dignity to every human being. You don't go out and shoot people and kill people. Yeah. Non-Jews, that's not the way, that's not the Derech HaTorah. Never was. Never was. Never was.
But on a way back when, like when we were first given the land, it's like the people that blessed Israel lived with Israel. The people that didn't bless Israel were supposed to be gotten rid of.
Well, that's good, but that's God's job. We're not.
Right.
Let God decide how He's going to run and what He's going to do. Not us. We have to raise our kids, learn the Torah, and Hashem will help. Because according to the Quran, really, if we're religious, I'll the Quran, then they have no right to destroy us. That's according to their religion. But if they believe that we're non-believers in the Torah, we don't keep the Torah, then they have a right to kill us, according to the Quran. I don't know if you're following the Quran, but what the Quran says.
If we're following the Torah, they can't.
Jews, the Torah is for the Jews, and the Quran is for the Arabs.
Right.
That's what it says clearly.
And if we follow the Torah, they don't have a right to kill us.
What?
If we follow the Torah, they don't have a right to.
According to the Quran. I can't tell you what they do, you know.
They hate I was reading something about jihad, the jihad people. They hate the Zionists.
Yeah, the Zionists, because they're not religious. Because they're not religious. Not religious. Because they have to believe in one God, and they don't believe in one God. They believe in socialism, communism, and all that ism. And so therefore, they have a right, according to their religion. I'm not talking about what we believe. Therefore, but do they know about it? They know what it is. But I think they know a little bit. If I don't feel so bad, will they attack us? That's I mean, if you have jihad and we have the right information now, religious people, I don't believe in the fundamentalists will do anything. You know, we're religious people. Another thing I would advise us to, we had clothing to give it to the poor Arabs in the area. To make human relations between people. That's right. That's what I would do. If I had old clothes, that's what I would give them. What?
We do it. We do it every time.
It's very important. I would do more of it. I would get I would try to get from all over. Girls, I'd like to try from all over and get them a lot of stuff. Because you got to have human relations.
Yaakov gave
It has
some
to be
gifts,
beneficial
right?
for them.
What?
It has to be their benefit that they leave us alone also.
Yeah.
They have what to gain from us.
But it's
My aunt,
but that's from the concept of Yaakov
Because,
giving Esav
yeah,
gifts.
but that's a different story. You're right about that. Down deep, everybody hates the other people. We're talking about in the aspect of jihad of religion. Esav hates Yaakov is not to do with religion, it's to do with the fact the Jews and non-Jews. But in religious aspect, we're talking about because we have to try to be to that. The politicians you never can win, but the average person you can, and they may have a way of leaving us alone. You read the history of how people help some goyim and they help the Jews and they save cities and places.
my aunt and my cousin during the Holocaust, he had a little boy his age, and he played with the little boy, and the women said, don't let that German play with your son.
Yeah.
And she let him play with him, and then when the time came, he told her to run. You know,
So she helped out.
because she allowed him to play with her son.